Father has many extramarital daughters. Some can compose poetry. Some can play the pipa. Others are stunningly beautiful. Those women, like flowers blooming season after season in spring, are tucked away by father in different courtyards. Among them, father favors young Luo the most. That is why I also dislike young Luo the most. After the wedding date was set, father finally told me he wants young Luo to accompany me to the Z family. He said young Luo has a pretty face, a soft temperament, and is best suited to accompany you to the Z family. Ahang, father isn't showing favoritism. I am planning for your own good. But I know, every time father says he is planning for my good, the one who ends up having to make concessions is always me. My name is Shen Heng. I am the legitimate daughter of the Shen family. My mother came from a prominent, noble family, dignified and virtuous. She was once a noble lady praised by everyone in the capital. But after marrying father, her whole life was trapped within the web of his romantic debts. When father was young, he had also promised mother a lifetime of devotion. Later, one by one, he brought new women into his life outside the estate. At first, mother would cry. She would ask and wait for father to change his heart. Later on, she stopped crying. She would just sit by the window, watching the crabapple tree in the courtyard, from the arrival of spring to its departure. The year she passed away, I was only 12. Before she died, she held my hand. Ahang, her voice was as light as a breeze. Don't learn from me. Back then, I didn't understand. Later, I realized it wasn't that mother wasn't good enough. It was that she trusted too much. Trusted father's so-called I will handle it well. Waited for father to deal with those women outside. Waited for him to bring his heart back home. Year after year, she waited until she had emptied her own life. Therefore, when father said he wanted young Luo to accompany me to the Z family, I only felt it was absurd. The Z family is a prestigious clan in Jiangnan, and Zilin Chuan is known to the world as a noble and refined gentleman. With a good family background and great talent, his reputation is impeccable. Such a marriage, one that everyone naturally envies. But father said, no matter how refined a man may be, he is still a man. Your looks are not outstanding, and your temper is stubborn. If you don't have someone useful by your side, how will you stand firm in the Z household in the future? He said it tactfully, but I understood him perfectly. He feared that Zilin Chuan might eventually take another woman, so he prepared one for me in advance. And that person just happens to be Yan Luo. Yan Luo's birth mother is surnamed Qin. Back on mother's birthday, Qin Shi carried the infant Yan Luo and caused a scene at our door. With all the guests present, she knelt in the courtyard, crying about how she had been nameless and titleless for years, begging mother to grant her and the child a way to survive. Father protected Qin Shi and didn't lose his temper then and there. He even personally had someone help Qin Shi up and arranged for her to stay in the estate. But after that birthday banquet, mother fell ill. Everyone in the house said that Madame was magnanimous and Qin Shi was pitiable. Only I remembered, that night, mother sat under the window, looking at the flickering candles in the courtyard, her eyes devoid of any light. Later, mother's health grew worse day by day, while Qin Shi grew more and more favored. Now that Qin Shi is seriously ill, begging father to find a good future for Yan Luo, father thought of me. My nurse was so angry her face turned pale. Niu Lang, if you don't like it, after you marry you can just find an excuse to send her away. But for now, the wedding is the priority. Don't come into direct conflict with your father. I asked where Yan Luo was. They said she was in the East Wing. I heard she had been crying all afternoon. I put down the bridal gown in my hands and went to the East Wing. Yan Luo was indeed crying. Through the half-open window, I saw her leaning against the desk, her shoulders trembling slightly. She is stunningly beautiful, her skin as white as snow, her features soft and delicate, and her eyes timid, like a startled little deer. Seeing me enter, she stood up immediately, hurriedly bowing. I looked at her coldly. Don't call me that. My mother only gave birth to one daughter. Yan Luo's face went pale. She lowered her head. She looked fragile and innocent, but every time I looked at her, I thought of Qin Shi, thought of that woman, kneeling at mother's birthday banquet. Fragility is a blade, and tears are also a blade. As long as they are used well, they can cut a person open inch by inch, by inch. I went to find father. Father was in his study, looking over the dowry list. Seeing me enter, he thought I had come to yield. Yan Luo is timid. After you take her with you, teach her more. She won't compete with you for anything. She will only help you steady Zilin Chuan's heart. I asked father, since you know she is timid, why not let her marry an ordinary person in peace? Father frowned. The Z family is a high-ranking household. That she can go with you. Is her good fortune? And what about my fortune? Father laughed. I looked at him, my voice very steady. Did mother think the same way back then? She conceded to one Qin Shi, and then had to concede to a second and a third. Now that father wants me to let Yan Luo marry in my place, how is that any different from mother having to tolerate Qin Shi back then? Father's expression darkened. Ahang. The matter of your mother happened many years ago. Why must you always dwell on it? Because it hasn't passed. Those things are like a thorn, stuck in my heart. Even without touching it, it hurts. I said, I can take Yan Luo to the Z family. Father's expression relaxed. I continued, but Qin Shi cannot remain in the Shen household. Since she asked for a future for Yan Luo, from now on, she should no longer be linked to Yan Luo. Father's expression changed abruptly. Qin Shi is ill. How can you be so cold and heartless? I looked at him. Father thinks I am cold and heartless because I am not as easy to talk to as mother. Father was enraged, slamming the desk as he stood up. Ahang, I am not backing down. If father is so reluctant to let go of Qin Shi, then choose someone else to accompany me. The Shen family has so many extramarital daughters. It won't hurt to lack a Yan Luo. The study was silent for a long time. Father finally avoided my gaze.
He said Zilin Chuan has already met Yan Luo.
My heart turned cold, little by little. Father added, he was very satisfied. So, even the Z family knew about this long ago. They weren't here to discuss it with me. They were just waiting for me to nod, just as everyone waited for mother to nod back then. The day Zilin Chuan visited, Yan Luo was trying on her clothes. The pale pink dress made her look captivating and pitiful. She stood by the screen, timidly calling out Zi Langjun. Zilin Chuan's footsteps paused. In that instant, the look in his eyes when he saw her, I saw it clearly. Appreciation, pity, and a hint of misplaced distraction. Yan Luo hurriedly retreated behind the screen. Only then did Zilin Chuan regain his composure and look at me. Shenji Yunyang, my apologies. His tone was gentle, yet he was not flustered. It seemed that, in his eyes, Yan Luo was meant to be the person prepared for him. His lingering glance was not a mistake. My nurse saw this scene, and privately cried in distress. Nu Lang, this marriage is not right. I smiled. Actually, doesn't it make no difference who I marry? In an aristocratic marriage, what matters is social status, profit, and decorum. Zilin Chuan is suitable to be my husband, and I am suitable to be his wife. As for affection, that was never the most important thing in this marriage anyway. But I still felt unwilling. Unwilling to step into the old path mother once walked. Unwilling to let them arrange everything for me, and then have to smile and thank them. A few days later, I went to Qin Shi's courtyard. Qin Shi was indeed ill, leaning on the couch, her complexion pale. Seeing me arrive, there was no sign of a patient's weakness in her eyes, only caution. I didn't go in, just asked through the window, you want Yan Luo to marry into the Z family? Qin Shi coughed a few times, her eyes brimming with tears. I just wanted to find a good future for her. Why must Nu Lang make things difficult for a helpless younger sister? I said softly, Qin Shi. You said the exact same thing to my mother back then. Qin Shi's gaze shifted. I turned and left. In that moment, I finally understood. If I continued with this marriage, there would be countless such moments in the future. Some people would tell me to be magnanimous. Others would tell me to be tolerant. Some would say Yan Luo is pitiable. And others would say, she is only a concubine. Why bother arguing? But I am not mother. I don't want to spend my whole life proving how virtuous I am. I began to avoid Zilin Chuan. I didn't accept the gifts he sent, and I ignored the messages he sent. Father thought I was just throwing a tantrum, and Zilin Chuan also thought I would eventually come around. Until Qin Shi's illness suddenly vanished. My nurse was shaking with anger. Nu Lang Qin Shi was never seriously ill. It was clearly a ruse. She deliberately used this to force the Langjun to send Yan Luo by your side. I wasn't surprised. If Qin were truly a simple person, she wouldn't have pushed mother into such a difficult spot back then. What I found even more laughable was, the person who invited the famous physician for Qin was Zilin Chuan. Hearing this news, I sat by the window, silent for a long time. My nurse asked, "What should we do?" I said we were going to my maternal grandfather's house. After mother passed away, my grandfather resigned from his post and moved to the mountains outside the city to live a life of cultivation. He originally never concerned himself with worldly affairs, but as soon as I arrived at the mountain, he had someone prepare plain porridge and vegetables. Halfway through the meal, a servant came to report that the Z families, Langjun was at the foot of the mountain asking to see me. I gripped my chopsticks, saying nothing. Grandfather looked at me and calmly instructed, "Tell him no guests are received today." After the servant retreated, I finally spoke. Grandfather didn't ask me why. Grandfather said, "I used to ask too much and worried too much, always thinking if your mother endured a little, she could hold the home together. In the end, she didn't have a good life. Ahang, now I only wish for you to be happy." My eyes grew hot. Grandfather added, "If this household is not good, then find another. If there is no suitable person, not marrying is also an option. No one has ever spoken to me like that before. Father says I must marry. The clan elders say I should consider the bigger picture. Only my maternal grandfather said that I do not have to marry if I do not wish to." Before coming down the mountain, grandfather asked me to visit the Princess Royal. The Princess Royal is the younger sister of the late emperor. She moved to the mountains many years ago to live in seclusion. She even invited me to eat the plums she had grown herself. I took a bite. It was so sour that I frowned. The Princess Royal laughed and said, "If it's hard to swallow, then don't force yourself." I was stunned. She continued, "People are the same. Marriages are also the same." In that moment, I suddenly felt the gloom in my chest dissipate a little. Indeed, if it is hard to swallow, then spit it out. If a person is not a good fit, then don't keep them. When grandfather saw me off down the mountain, he handed me a box. Inside the box, there were my mother's old account books and several letters from back then. Grandfather said, "Your mother didn't lack a contingency plan back then. It's just that she was too soft-hearted and never used them." I opened them to look. Inside were records of how Qin had caused a scene back then, and how father had used mother's dowry to settle his mistress. There were even several letters Qin had written to father. Every single word was about how to force my mother to concede. I suddenly understood why grandfather had asked me to go up the mountain first. He wasn't just trying to comfort me. He was telling me, if you are going to retreat, you must retreat while standing on firm ground. You cannot rely solely on a single breath of resentment. When I returned to the city, Zilin Chuan was waiting at the city gate. He lifted the carriage curtain. "Ahang, I have come to take you home." There was a hint of plum blossom fragrance in the wind. That fragrance was not one commonly used by the Z family. I had smelled it on father, and I had also smelled it on Qin. I lowered my eyes and saw a new sachet hanging from his waist. The stitching was fine, embroidered with a branch of white plum. That was not my handiwork. Zilin Chuan followed my gaze and explained Yan Luo embroidered it. She is skillful but timid. Please don't hold it against her. I suddenly wanted to laugh. We always hurt people without shedding a drop of blood. If you cry out in pain, you are branded as petty. Zilin Chuan said, "I have already spoken with Yan Luo. After the wedding, I will not let her enter the house for the time being. Wait until you give birth to the eldest son, and then worry about this matter." This was what he considered his own concession. But I only found it absurd. "Zilanzhen, why go to such lengths?" He said, "You will be the matriarch of the Z family. Besides, you are the most suitable to be my wife." The most suitable is not love, and it is not cherishing. It is just suitable. When I first met Zilin Chuan in my youth, my heart had indeed fluttered. At a court banquet, someone had teased with a smile, "Brother Z has secured the daughter of the Shen family." A perfect match. How joyous and celebratory. Others also said, "I heard Miss Shen is plain in appearance, but one marries a wife for her virtue. As for beautiful women, there are only so many." Zilin Chuan did not refute it at the time. Back then, I thought he was just being magnanimous. Only now do I realize he had thought that way from the very beginning. He hoped for me to be a virtuous wife. But he misjudged me. I am not virtuous. After returning to the estate, I had someone invite Yan Luo over. When she arrived, she was still acting timidly, as if she didn't know what she had done wrong. I got straight to the point. Do you want to be the legal wife of Zilin Chuan? Yan Luo was startled. Elder sister? I am not your elder sister. I looked at her. If you want to marry him, I can fulfill your wish. Her complexion changed several times. She lowered her voice. I must ask mother about this. Given Qinxi's temperament, how could she refuse? She had spent so many years. Was it not just to let her own daughter step into a high-ranking family and finish the path she herself had not been able to complete? The mistress would not be content to let Nu Lang let them off so easily. I shook my head. The Z family is not that easy to enter. In prominent noble families, status is more important than beauty. Rules are more important than tears. If Yan Luo truly thinks that by relying on a pretty face and a few tears, she can become the matriarch of the Z family, then let her try. But if she wants to try, she must step onto the stage herself. She can no longer hide behind me. One cannot have the benefits without bearing the costs. Half a month later, the Z family held a banquet. I brought Yan Luo along. When Madame Z saw me, she held my hand and said warmly, I heard you were unwell a few days ago. Are you feeling better now? I nodded. Thank you for your concern, Madame. Madame Z looked at Yan Luo. Her eyes grew cold. Aheng, you are the legitimate daughter of the main branch. Do not lose your dignity for the sake of irrelevant people. I lowered my head to acknowledge Yan Luo turned pale and stepped back quietly. She retreated behind Zilin Chuan. Zilin Chuan did not look at her, but turned slightly to shield her with his shadow. I simply acted as if I hadn't seen it. Halfway through the banquet, Zilin Chuan came to toast me. He said, thank you for bringing Yan Luo today. She is afraid. I hope you will take care of her after the wedding. He spoke so naturally, as if he were already certain that I would coexist with Yan Luo for a lifetime, managing the inner household for him. I raised my glass and smiled. Zi Langjun, rest assured. He left, feeling satisfied. I lowered my eyes and poured the wine from my cup into the flower pot beside me. After the banquet that day, Zilin Chuan and Yan Luo's private meeting was stumbled upon by Madame Z. In truth, they hadn't done anything too outrageous. It was just that the side room was empty. Yan Luo's hair was slightly disheveled, and she was clutching Zilin Chuan's jade pendant in her hand. Zilin Chuan's outer robe was draped over her shoulders. In the rules of higher-ranking families, this was enough to set tongues wagging. Madame Z's expression was extremely ugly. Yan Luo was crying like rain on pear blossoms. Zilin Chuan stepped forward and said, it was my lapse in manners. It has nothing to do with Yan Luo. He protected her, protecting her openly even in front of the Z family elders. Father, hearing the news, rushed over. His first reaction, however, was to persuade me, Aheng. Yan Luo was meant to go with you anyway. Today was merely a misunderstanding. Don't make things ugly for both families. I asked, what if Yan Luo becomes pregnant in the future? What if she relies on Zilin Chuan's favoritism to suppress me? If I end up living like mother, will father still ask me to endure it? Father frowned. How can you speak so harshly? Madame Z also looked at me. The Z family must have dignity. And the Shen family must also have dignity. They were all hoping I would swallow this insult. But I refused. I stood up and bowed to Madame Z. Madame Z Shenheng does not have the fortune to be the matriarch of the Z family. Let us call off this marriage. A silence fell over the room. Zilin Chuan finally looked at me. In his eyes, there was surprise and annoyance. It seemed he had never imagined I would announce the cancellation of the marriage in public. I added, I am willing to act as an adult and fulfill your wishes. Since Zi Lanjun is fond of Yan Luo, then let Yan Luo marry over. Father didn't return to the estate until the next day. As soon as he entered, he came to find me. Aheng, do you know what you are doing? I said calmly, I am solving a difficult problem for father. Father was so angry his face turned blue. You called off the Z family marriage. How will you marry anyone in the future? I said, if I cannot marry, then I will not marry. Father looked at me, as if seeing me for the first time. After a long silence, he lowered his voice. What about Yan Luo? I smiled, even at this point. He was still thinking about Yan Luo, I said. If father truly loves her, then register her under mother's name, and let her marry into the Z family as a legitimate daughter of the Shen family. Father was shocked. She was born to Qin Shi. Therefore, Qin Shi could no longer remain in the capital. Father stood up abruptly. Don't even think about it. I had already expected him to react this way. Grandfather's letter arrived at the estate at this moment. The letter contained only one sentence. Since the marriage is called off, the Shen family must give them an explanation. The next day, my uncle brought the clan elders to the house. Although grandfather had been in religious seclusion for many years, the prestige of mother's maiden family still remained. They arrived very quickly, and their stance was very firm. The elders of the three branches gathered. Uncle proposed 3 things in front of everyone. First, the Shen family must reinventory mother's dowry along with the corresponding assets and reevaluate them. Everything must be returned to my name. Second, if Yan Luo is to replace me and marry into the Z family, she must be registered under mother's name, erasing her status as the daughter of a mistress. Third, Qin Shi must no longer stay in the Shen family, nor may she continue to pose as Yan Luo's biological mother. Father was furious. You are forcing me, Uncle said coldly. Back then, you allowed your mistress to humiliate my sister. Today you want to let the mistress's daughter step on a hang to enter a high-ranking family? The Shen family's face is face, but my sister's and a hang's face is not face? Father was speechless. Madame Z originally did not want to interfere in the affairs of the Shen family. But I asked her, Madame, Yan Luo's nature is soft, and she listens most to Qin Shi. If Qin Shi remains in the capital, in the future, within the Z inner household, will it be Madame Z who is listened to, or Qin Shi? Madame Z's expression changed. She finally spoke. Qin Shi cannot stay. Father's face was filled with confusion. He probably did not understand why a joyous occasion he thought was so well arranged eventually turned into a disaster. On the day Qin Shi was sent away, I did not go to see her. But Yan Luo came to me crying and begging. She knelt on the ground, tears falling drop by drop. Ahang, I won't marry anymore. Please don't send my mother away. I looked at her. Yan Luo, you are reluctant to let her go now, because you feel the cost is too high. But when you and Qin Shi calculated this marriage at the beginning, did you ever think that I would also have to pay a price? Yan Luo shook her head desperately. I didn't scheme against you. It was you who told me to marry him. I smiled. Yes, it was me who said it. But if you did not want to, no one could have forced you. Yan Luo was stunned. She stared at me blankly, as if she finally realized that in this world, there are no benefits without costs. A high-ranking family is not a blessing that falls from the sky. If you want to step on me to get inside, you must endure the rules and restraints that come with it. A few days later, the Shen and Z families exchanged the marriage documents again. The bride changed from Shen Heng to Shen Yan Luo when the news spread. Out, the capital was rife with discussion. Some said my temper was too fierce. Others said Zi Linchuan was blind. And some also whispered that this marriage of the Shen family was truly handled in a disgraceful manner. I listened to these rumors, but my heart was more peaceful than ever before. The marriage was called off. The dowry had returned. Qin Shi had left the capital. After Yan Luo marries into the Z family, whether it is glory or shame, it has nothing to do with me. I finally do not have to walk the same path as my mother. I packed my bags, prepared to go to the mountain to accompany grandfather for a short stay. Just as I was leaving, I happened to run into Zilin Chuan. He was standing in front of the Shen family gate, his gaze falling from my luggage to my face. The anger from that day had been worn away by time, leaving only a trace of complexity. Shen Heng, I stopped my steps. Zilin Chuan asked, Are you really leaving? The mountain is peaceful. It is very good. His brows furrowed slightly. Do you not regret it? I looked at him. Zilang Zheng, you sought benevolence and obtained benevolence. You should be happy. Silence for a moment. The voice lowered slightly. I don't know what I could have possibly done wrong, he asked with such sincerity. But I no longer wished to answer, because I knew, even if I spoke, he would never truly understand. He would say it was just one Yan Luo, would say I was being too sensitive, would say a legitimate wife and a concubine are different, and that there is no need to compete. But I had long seen the truth, that it was not just one Yan Luo. It was the lifelong suffering of my mother, and the cage I had almost walked into myself. I said, Zi Lanzhen, you have done nothing wrong. It is simply that I no longer wish to marry you. His expression stiffened. I bypassed him and boarded the carriage. As the carriage departed the estate, I caught a glimpse through the window of Yan Luo standing not far away. She was wearing a newly tailored dress, her face showing a hint of unease, yet also a flicker of secret triumph. Zilin Chan did not look at her. His gaze remained fixed on my carriage curtain. Yan Luo's hands slowly clenched. I lowered the curtain and smiled softly. So this marriage had not even begun, yet cracks had already appeared. Life in the mountains was peaceful. Grandmother spent every day meditating, reading, and drinking tea. I was restless at first, but I slowly grew accustomed to it. The Grand Princess often asked me to keep her company. She would have me read to her, and if I read well, she would keep me for dinner. One day, she handed me a scroll. I asked what it was. The Grand Princess laughed. I have secured a title for you. You now possess a substantial dowry, and are no longer in a wealthy household, so it is inevitable that some will covet it. Having a title to protect yourself is always prudent. I was stunned, and she added later, if you encounter someone suitable, you may marry if you wish. If you do not wish to marry, staying in the mountains is also fine. The mountain breeze blew, the autumn air slightly cool, but warmth surged within my heart. Why is the princess being so kind to me? The Grand Princess peeled a pomegranate and handed it to me. I saw your mother, the way she was in her youth. She loved to laugh back then, kind-hearted, with light in her eyes. When I saw her again later, she was like a bird trapped in a cage, flying lower and lower, flying with more and more exhaustion. The Grand Princess placed the pomegranate in my palm. The happiness she never got to enjoy. You shall enjoy it for her. I lowered my head and ate a pomegranate seed. It was very sweet. I thought this was a blessing from my mother. The next time I descended the mountain was to attend a friend's gathering. My friend whispered to me, Zilin Chuan has come too. If you do not wish to see him, I will have someone send him away. I shook my head, no need. Zilin Chuan and I have long had no connection. He is here to attend the banquet, and I am here to attend the banquet. There is nothing to hide from. But the banquet was small, and we inevitably crossed paths. Zilin Chuan looked thinner than before. He saw me, his expression complex. I heard you have been staying by the Grand Princess's side. The princess is kind and willing to look after me. Zilin Chuan was silent for a moment. I did not know you were so close with the Grand Princess before. These words sounded like a reproach, blaming me for keeping secrets from him, for guarding against him, and for never truly trusting him. I smiled. Zilangzhen, that sounds like you are blaming me. He started, then quickly hid the emotions in his eyes. That is not what I meant. He added, Shen Huan. I just feel it is a pity. You and I did not have to end up this way. I asked, what way? He looked at me. It was just one Yan Luo. I felt not a single ripple in my heart. In the past, this sentence would have stung me. Now I only thought as expected. He still did not understand. Yan Luo was not just a person. She was the measuring stick Zilin Chuan used to judge me. If I yielded once, there would be countless times ahead where I would have to be calm. Zilanzhen, watch your words. There are many people at the banquet today. If others overhear, I fear they will gossip about the Z family's past affairs again. Zilin Chuan's face went pale. The Z family's noble reputation had already suffered due to the wedding scandal. He was no longer the acclaimed first young master of the past. The world discovered that the moon too could be biased, could act inappropriately, and could be indecisive regarding a marriage between two families. This was not just hearsay. It was the truth. I saw Yan Luo once more later on. She was at the women's table, being pressured by several noble women. She could not compose poetry, nor did she understand the customs of scholarly families. Unable to keep up with the conversation, she could only stand there, her face flushing red. Someone mocked her. The Shen family's new bride is indeed a beauty. The words were phrased politely, but everyone could hear the underlying meaning. Aside from her looks, she had nothing else. Yan Luo saw me, like a drowning person seeing a lifeline. Shen Jiji as I walked past. I took her aside. Her eyes were red. They looked down on me. I replied, it is not that they look down on you. It is that you are unable to hold up this position yourself. Yan Luo's face turned pale. Did you come here on purpose to mock me? I shook my head. Yan Luo, no one can protect you forever. Qinshi cannot protect you. Father cannot protect you, and Zi Lingchuan cannot protect you for a lifetime. She bit her lip in silence. I asked again, how has father been lately? Yan Luo's eyes flickered. I heard father recently took in a songstress. The girl's features look somewhat like Qin Shi. Father has started to dote on her again. Yan Luo probably knew this as well. I said softly, father is not a constant man. While Qin Shi was alive, he cherished Qin Shi. After Qin Shi left, if someone resembles her, he will cherish another. When that person has children of her own, do you think he will still plan for your future? Yan Luo's face paled further. He wouldn't. But her voice was very faint, clearly unable to convince even herself. I said nothing more. There are some paths one must walk alone. Only then will one know the pain. Not long after, news came from the Shen family. Father and Yan Luo had had a falling out. There was no need to detail the reason. It was nothing more than Yan Luo fearing the loss of favor, doing something improper, and being publicly scolded by father. Father called her unfilial and lacking in discretion. Yan Luo wept in her defense, saying it was all my reminder that caused it. Father's carriage stopped at the foot of the mountain. I waited a long time, but he did not come up. He only had someone pass on a message, the master says. The young lady need not return to the Shen household again. I found it laughable after hearing it. That was not for him to decide. I had the dowry left by my mother in my name. I had my grandmother and the grand princess as backers, and I had documents recognized by the clan elders. The Shen estate was no longer a place where father's word alone could decide my coming and going. My nurse looked at me, hesitating, and asked, "Young lady, do you hate the master?" I remained silent for a long time, and finally said, I hate Qin Shi, and I hate Yan Luo, but the one I hate most has always been father. It was he who allowed others to step over my mother time and again.
He who treated my mother's resignation as a matter of course.
And he who tried to make me walk that same path in front of him. Yunang, do not speak of these things to others anymore. I nodded. I will not. Because the justice I wanted had already been slowly reclaimed. Father lost his favor, and he also lost Yan Luo's respect. Yan Luo married into the Zi family, but she could no longer gain the true support of the Shen family. Zi Lingchuan married the one he favored, but he lost his reputation and his prospects. They each obtained what they sought, and each reaped their own bitter fruit. The day Zi Lingchuan and Yan Luo married, the Zi family sent an invitation. I declined. Along with the reply came a fox fur cloak. The servant said, "The master says the mountains are damp and cold. Please take care of your health, Miss Shen." When the grand princess heard this, she was puzzled. What is he trying to do? Could he still believe he would change your mind? I smiled. It is probably because after Yan Luo married in, things were not as good as he had imagined. And perhaps he finally realized that a suitable wife is not someone who can be replaced at any time. Unfortunately, it is too late. I had them return the cloak, completely unopened. A few days later, I returned to the Shen estate to retrieve old belongings. As I was leaving, Zi Lingchuan happened to be accompanying Yan Luo to pay respects to father. Yan Luo's eyes were red. It seemed she had just been crying. Zi Lingchuan's brows were filled with exhaustion. Seeing me walk out, he called out wistfully, "Mei I acknowledged him, but my pace did not falter. He chased after me for 2 steps. Are you really going to stay on the mountain forever? The mountains are quite nice. You will regret being all alone." I stopped and turned to look at him. The grand princess has never regretted it. Besides, I am not alone. I have my grandmother. I have my nurse, the memories left by my mother, and enough assets to secure my life. I do not need a marriage to prove that I have a place to belong. Zi Lingchuan looked at me, as if he had many things to say. But Yan Luo stood behind him, looking at me with guarded resentment. I suddenly found it interesting. They once all hoped for my compliance, and now that I have truly complied, they are restless instead. I took out that fox fur cloak and returned it to Zi Lingchuan. "Thank you for your kind intentions, Zi Langjun. But it is not cold in the mountains, and I do not lack these things." Zi Lingchuan asked in a low voice, "Why must you be so heartless?" I leaned in closer, my voice very soft. "Zi Langjun, you misunderstand. There was never any heart between us. Since there is no heart, how can there be heartlessness?" Zi Lingchuan's expression faltered. I did not look at him again, turned, and boarded the carriage. The wheels turned slowly forward. I knew that from this moment on, those people would slowly erode within the choices they had made. Ziling Chuan would think of me, this woman who was once the most suitable wife. Yan Luo would discover that favor in a high-ranking family is never reliable. Father would also realize that the life he thought he could arrange at will would eventually bite back at him. But none of these things had anything to do with me anymore. Upon returning to the mountains, I first went to pay respects to the Grand Princess and gifted her a piece of fine jade. It was an old object left by my mother. I thought the princess would like it. The Grand Princess took it, looked it over and nodded. Indeed, it is of the highest quality. She looked at me and suddenly asked, "Do you truly not regret it? Do you not regret giving away the vast wealth? You let the marriage go to someone else. You are estranged from your father, and the Z family has become a thing of the past." Are you content? I am content. I am not without everything. I have my assets. I have my title and the protection of the Grand Princess and my grandmother. And I have the path my mother never got to finish walking. I have finally secured a new path for myself. The Princess Royal gazed at me for a long time. She smiled gently and said, "You have grown up." I smiled back. "It is all thanks to your guidance, Highness." In truth, one must always look forward. In the past, I was fixated on Qin Shi, Yan Luo, my father, and Zilin Chuan. I thought that seeing them lose everything would be the only way to avenge my mother. But now I understand. True vindication is that I did not become a second version of her. I did not endure in silence. I did not wait in vain. I did not exhaust my life in an unsuitable marriage. The mountain breeze blew. The branches of the pomegranate tree swayed gently. I pried open a ripe pomegranate. The red seeds were crystal clear and plump. I tasted one. It was sweet, I thought. If Mother Spirit is watching